plan. Those are okay. First one is implement coupling and ride sharing programs, and incentivize and promote coupling and ride.
Procedure of the session, and yes, congratulates everyone in.
For this, we would kind of depend as well on the community around that and the people that we have also tried to enforce education on and inform them on the negative effects of child marriage. So.
And so, hello everyone. This is what the video that we just shown. It's what people think about DMUN when we mention it. But is that really the case? Well, DMUN was organized by me, Alexis, and Mango, and we are the survivors of the organizing teams. The one who lived to tell you the tales of how catastrophic, how youth destroyer MUN actually is.
Whoa. Pause. Rewind. I'm pretty sure you're yapping all about MUN and what is MUN and how amazing our MUN conference is, but I don't think anyone, or not everyone here, knows what MUN is, right? So, this is the UN flag, and as most of you should know, the UN, or the United Nations, is a group of countries. It's almost, I think it's over 190 countries, who work together to solve these global issues like warfare, like poverty, like climate change, and so on and so forth. So this is an image of what the UN's meeting looked like. And this is a bunch of, representatives about like middle age or 30-year-old people and stuff. And to contrast this image with this new image, the only difference that we see, even though it's in the same room, right? The main difference is that instead of there being adults, big people, discussing these great issues, they're actually students discussing these issues. So what MUN is that it basically gives students a platform for them to discuss global issues where they represent the countries that they're assigned to. And they work together and they hone these skills such as diplomacy, such as public speaking, or such as research. And they work together to make new solutions and think of solutions that can help us solve the global issues.
So, we started our journey of starting an MUN in Dewey by daydreaming. You see, we, or I, live by the quote that all important progress made by human race had its root in daydreaming. This means that you need to imagine you're successful before succeeding. You need to know what your final products are or is before you actually start to create or take action to work towards that final goal. That's why we have dreamt up of a perfect plan, the plan in our dreams, about having few months of preparation and miraculously have 3 big events, 2 for the Dewey School with invites, and the last one open for all high school students in Hanoi.
So, with our dream plan in mind, we started to think of what we call a good plan, and this is based on what we learned in math called a good problem. So, based on that model, we sent our first or initial proposal to the Dewey Student Council, and this is what our email looks like on the screen, right? And our main goal was to spread, the awareness of MUN to other students with the aim of helping them be more aware of these global issues, of what was going on, and to help them hone the skills that we also cultivated throughout our experience with MUN. Because me and Minh Ngọc, we both have experience with going to these conferences, and from what we've learned and what we've honed throughout the years of experiencing these activities, we've learned so much, and that's why we want to bring it back to Dewey as well, because there are other schools, like there's Vin School MUN, there's sent to MUN, and there's even been school harmony MUN. And so we were thinking like, why isn't there a Dewey MUN? So that was the inspiration as to why we wanted to start this event and also what we aim to achieve.
So let's just imagine this tree as our dream plan. So this tree have a lot of branches, many leaves. Imagine those leaves and branches as our tiny little plan, the details, the things that we actually want to be in the event. However, if we were to grow a tree like this, in a few months, we'll turn into a dead tree. Why? Because we lack the nutrition, we lack resources, time, motivation, finance to actually fund a Harvard level MUN. That's why we decided to do what all gardeners do to keep trees and plants alive, is to trim off branches. We did this to our plant the same way as we did it to this tree on the slide.
Like how the tree got trimmed, we also trimmed off our plan, making more time for preparations and 2 more months for reflection and the presentation that we're giving you today.
So now, after we went through that phase of trimming down the tree or our plan of trees, right? Now we move to this phase that we call the panic room. And so in this panic room, what you see on the surface of the iceberg model, right? What you see on the surface is this. You see the different events that we organize. You see the publications that we distribute to the students who are participating. And you also see our fan page on social media. But what you don't see is the rest. You see with many deadlines being rushed, with many of us figuring out how to exactly organize this event and also negotiating with the school to organize the best event possible. At the end of the day, we have to consult so many different experienced people, from the school board members to other students who are in a DSC, and only to realize that we actually have little to no funding. And so that was a really, really big learning experience for us all when we were organizing this event.
However, the worst challenge was yet to come. We have emailed a very fancy, beautiful school in Hanoi with the best venue possible for our event to be hosted in. Well, we got the reply just a few hours, just more than 1 hour later, and it was very prospective. We were ambitious. Can we really get the school beautiful venue to be the place where we host our tiny little MUN event, being in its first year? Well, the answer is no. We got ghosted by the school after they sent the email saying that we will get back to you shortly. They didn't even get back to us, not shortly or longly. And even until now, we received no email about rejection or something from the school. That's where things went downhill for our plan.
So just like if you guys know about the Dombero's unique, he burns down into bits and then reformed as a stronger creature. So just like our project, we burn it down into ashes and rose up on it. This is the glow up of our project. From check boxes, we turn it into a planner. From a document and handbook, we turn it into a design masterpiece. And from a nasty classroom, we turn it into a professional conference room.
Yay. Okay. So next is what we call the penultimate stage of our community project, which is the action plan. So this is when we organize the event and whatnot. Now, so we can see that after conducting a post-event survey on all the participants who came to our conference on that day, we realized that the event has either exceeded or met the expectation of over 95% of the members who were there, which was honestly a lot, considering that the event was bringing together students from 13 different middle and high schools throughout Hanoi, and it was probably about over 70 students. And consisting of 3 different committees, so that is UNDP, UNICEF, and UNHRC. In terms of attendance, there was an over 85% of participation, meaning that over 85% of people who actually registered and signed up with us were present. This is because before our actual conference day, we actually spontaneously changed the conference date to a later date. And that was the date in which some of our already registered participants were not able to come. So that meant that some of them had to drop out of the event. And this is a board of, on a scale of 1 to 10, how useful the event was to delegates.
I have a question. Why do you have 5 for the event expectation or usefulness? Shouldn't it be more useful considering it's discussing academic topics?
Yeah. Here's an explanation as to why we probably had 2 people saying that the event was maybe not as useful as the majority, right? You can see that most of them selected either a 7 to 10 rate of usefulness, but there was other 2 that they said that the event was actually not that useful. We actually looked into consideration, and out of all the participants who came to our conference, there were 2 delegates who were actually much, much more experienced than us, and they were even more experienced than Minh Ngọc and myself. And they were people who had been to this really, really big conferences before. And so the fact that maybe Dewey's first conference may not have been as good as, maybe the national MUN conferences or the citywide ones is completely something that makes sense. And we actually even reached out to them and got more of their like detailed feedback so that we could improve our future conferences. Okay, so our final phase of this project is looking back or reflection.
So, for my reflection, it was my first time being a secretary general, my first time experiencing the feeling of being a boss, the feeling of having your powers. I really enjoy asserting my powers, giving out orders to people lower than me, and having them completing my task for me. Well, however, unfortunately, during the conference, I encountered a Gen Alpha debate. Well, it was kind of annoying at first, but I won, so it was nothing. It was just in the past. And also, I've improved significantly in the ATL's cluster communication. This is because I need to communicate with the people working under me, making sure that they're meeting deadlines and making sure I'm being a nice and good boss and not the oppressive and tyrannic or something kind of person. And area of improvement is being on schedule, being more punctual, because I just miss that one time, just once. So yeah, I think that I can try improve on that.
Okay, this is my reflection of the event. So this was my first time chairing at any MUN community. So it was honestly really fun to direct the flow of the committee instead of being the one who always has to follow the motions and follow whatever the chair gives you. But I think the most difficult or annoying kind of to me was meeting deadlines because we didn't have a lot of experience with this before, and it was all a pretty vague idea of the idea in the beginning. And so there were a lot of new deadlines that popped up in the between. And so it was somewhat challenging in the first place, trying to balance between schoolwork and trying to balance between with organizing this event as well. And the most challenging thing for me was having to socialize, which if you think about it, is kind of like what Ngọc said in terms of communication. Because we weren't just working with students within Dewey, but we also had to reach out to other students outside of Dewey who had expertise in things like making content or things such as making media posts. And so that was a big learning experience for us. And so finally, what I think I can learn is project management, because this is something that is pretty new to me, as this is our first event that we're hosting together.
For my personal experience, since I'm less experienced than the member, this is my first time actually attending or like being in a part of the MUN organization. So the most delightful part for me is to be engaging in the research of the global issues, as well as watching the delegates struggle as they uh, stump upon the difficulties they have while they are participating in the conference. The most annoying part for me is Alexis constantly scolding me for deadlines that quote unquote hard to control. And but those scolding helped me a lot in learning more about the event management as well as the deadline. And for me, the most challenging part, as well as the area that I need more improving on, is the ATL skills, research skills.
Stop. So, throughout our slides, you have seen a drastic change in template. Starting out minimalistic, in the middle we are overly complicated, and now we're changed to a cute pastel color palette. It is chaotic, but yet diverse, and it is the same diversity that actually help us to organize our MUN. It's thanks to people coming from different backgrounds, different school, ages, and cities, I guess. Some are from different cities that help us organize and do all the aspect of the event, from finance to media to logistics and to the content of the event. We'd like to spend some time to send out our deepest appreciation towards the school staff, leaders, and teacher. Especially, we'd like to give a big shout out to Mr. Tate and Mr. Leon for assisting us the most during our community project, one being a homeroom teacher and the other being a community project supervisor. Thank you.
We would also like to thank some of our student external advisors, our core team, as well as our contributors who helped this event tremendously.
Other than those listed on here, we'd like to thank you to all the participants that take their time off the schedule to join our D-Moon conference. An event is nothing without a participant, and thus we believe that is the participant that actually contribute the most to being part of our success. That's the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.